This one's pretty unique because we got 2 videos back to back. Entirety of the Gooseworx situation summarized by A. Lamau. A. Lamau? Is that how I say it?
Recently, there's been a serious situation involving the Amazing Digital Circus fandom and the show's creator Gooseworx. Goose made a couple statements which upset fans, leading to a lot of hate getting sent her way. All of this culminated in Goose issuing an apology and deleting her Reddit account. Like usual, I'll go through what happened, giving context for anyone who isn't aware, and then I'll lastly finish off with my personal thoughts. This also shouldn't need to be said, but don't harass anyone mentioned in this video, especially Goose, and make sure to watch until the end. Thank you.
Context.
So, episode 8 of the Digital Circus comes out next month, and fans have been discussing what's going to happen and their opinions on things. A few days ago, a clip from a livestream Goose was on with her friends went viral. Goose gave her thoughts on some complaints she's received, mainly about Pomni and Jax being the main characters in the show. I'll roll the clip.
I'm gonna say something that may be a vent or something, but like going into this series, I never expected one of the things that people would get mad at me for would be making the show focus on the 2 main characters. I was like, oh, I didn't even know you could get mad about that. It's like building up the show to be about Pomni and Jax. It's like, oh, people are actually really upset about that. I'm sorry.
Bro, how have we reached the age of like being so bothered to the point where people are bothered about a show having a main character? You get it, bro. You want to be different. Your fucking favorite character's disappearing guy or something. But like, why are you gonna be mad? Yeah, that's so dumb. So dumb.
I think maybe because I don't realize that Jax is like one of the 2 main characters, you know, because he gets introduced to like the group of 5, so it just seems like you're giving one of the other characters of the cast more attention than the other ones, and that might be...
I mean, I think people don't know where it's going, though.
Yeah.
I've seen people get mad about their predictions that just aren't true, and I'm like, oh, well, just hold out a little bit. Like, I swear, it's all for something.
This has been widely known info for months now, and I've mentioned it in plenty of videos, but Goose has a Reddit account called Gooseworx. She would give hints on some future lines and discuss things. It was a comfy place to find out her opinions about the show. 24 days ago, one Redditor on r/thedigitalcircus made a post about how the ending of the show should be about Jax healing or going in a better direction. Goose replied, "What if the show was about someone who's too stubborn to give up on someone who's too stubborn to be saved? That would be crazy." So what she's saying
That's what it
here
seems
is
like so far.
basically Pomni wants to save Jax, but Pomni is too stubborn to give up on him. Similarly, Jax is too stubborn to open himself up to Pomni and let himself be saved. So just further information pointing towards the main focus of the show being Jax and Pomni. Over on r/the Amazing Digital Series, which is basically just another Digital Circus subreddit, one fan made a post about their complaints regarding Ragatha. This post is genuinely really well written. Feel free to pause and read in your own time. I actually agree with a lot of the things included here, but the crux of the post is that the pilot sets up the story around Pomni, Ragatha and Jax. Each character gets their own arcs and plot points, except for Ragatha, who basically gets left out. There's 2 episodes left, so there's not much time to flesh her out, and that fans giving fair critique are being incorrectly labelled as having poor media literacy. Goose replied, "Do people really think Ragatha's not going to get any development in the final 2 episodes? Self-explanatory, confirming that Ragatha will get development in the final 2 episodes."
You can't fucking predict how a series is gonna go. I don't understand why people keep doing that. They keep acting like, oh, I know where this is going already. Clearly not. Shows like the Amazing Digital Circus are fucking, like, oh, I swear so much. Holy moly. Yo, somebody spot in a swear jar. They've, like, surprised us so many times. I feel like people need more faith. That's it. People just don't have enough faith.
Episodes. She got 1 downvote on this post. Over on Twitter, Goose made a tweet about how the amount of art of Jax being tortured went down after he tried to end himself. In a reply, she says, "I've considered never touching this franchise again with a 10-foot pole. This is also more general, but recently there's been criticisms of the show for the way the merch focuses on Jax and Pomni. The latest example being the video about the upcoming convention that Glitch will have a booth at. Pomni and Jax take part along with the protagonists Andy and Frankie from Knights of Guinevere. So again, just further fuel for the fire that Jax and Pomni are the main characters." So after everything I said, there was a lot of fair criticism about Goose's statements. However, this quickly spiraled from normal critique to outright anger and hatred. A lot of these posts have now vanished into thin air, but they were basically angry about the fact that Pomni and Jax are the main characters. There were some posts bringing up that Goose has spoiled the story or created too high expectations for fans based on her past comments. The post she made years ago about each episode being centered around a character was mentioned, since a lot of fans expected 5 to be Ragatha's episode like Goose said, but instead focused on Jax. I noticed this one myself, but in the original trailer for the pilot, it specifically introduces the characters as Pomni, Jax, Ragatha, and everyone else. It's those 3 specifically who get introduced. So I think this is further evidence on why people assume the show had 3 main characters instead of 2. It's not necessarily anyone's fault for believing this way. The hate got too much for Goose and she deleted her Reddit account. Shortly after, she made 2 posts on Blue Sky. Her first one reads, "I'm so stressed all the time. I want to feel creative passion again." So obviously she's feeling very stressed and burned out. In a follow-up she says, "I'm trying my hardest to make the show good. I'm sorry about anything I've said on streams. I really don't want to hurt anyone."
Okay, look, this is another thing that I want to bring up. Because, again, I know that I'd be making stuff about Willow all the time. I know, how do I make this about Willow? How do I make this about Willow? Alright, listen. A lot of the time, people turn to creative outlets like YouTube, or in this case, like making your own show. Because sometimes they just want to pour in their heart to something and not have anyone, like, tell them how they can or can't run it. Listen, bro, next time, sorry for my language, next time I see somebody tell a YouTuber like me what I can or can't upload, to change my language around, to like go back to a certain thing that I used to upload, or tell Gooseworx how to work like their own characters around, bro, I can't lie, we gonna knock you out. I can't like tell one more person what they can and can't do, you get spit on. High key, this like it annoys me so much.
He's deleted those posts too.
It's so
that's
stupid.
Everything so far. So with the context and the drama itself covered, let's get into my thoughts on it all. So there's a lot to unpack here. We'll go through each part bit by bit. Firstly, there's Jax and Pomni being the main characters. I'm actually really shocked that anyone didn't see this coming. Each glitch show has a central protagonist who takes the main stage, but they're usually always accompanied by partners or sidekicks who are nearly just as important. Characters like En, Mud, and Gwen play a big role in the story just like the main characters do. The label doesn't necessarily describe everything. At least to me, it was abundantly clear from the get-go that Pomni was the protagonist, while Jax was the durotagonist. You can tell this from the way the show focuses on the 2 characters. Pomni's door is literally opposite to Jax's. However, I think it's totally valid for people to criticize the way things have been laid out, especially the lack of Ragatha. Ragatha is probably my favourite character in the show. I love her. However, the way the story focuses on her, especially with 5, has her feeling a bit sidelined in the plot. Like Goose says, she'll get development in the final 2 episodes. That's fantastic, but it's totally valid for people to give good faith criticisms about her role, especially that Reddit post that was made. What is totally unacceptable is people losing their minds and sending hate to anyone, especially Goose. The insane people will obviously be the minority. The digital circus fandom is generally pretty well behaved. However, these crazy rent-free haters have spoiled the fun for everyone, because Goose feels bad about the whole thing and is now second-guessing statements she's made. Her conversations on Reddit and live streams will never be 100% accurate. It's a spur-of-the-moment thing. It's totally nonsensical to go after the author of the show, the person who wrote the story, for saying who they think are the main focus of the story. It's unacceptable to send hate to Goose or anyone for being a fan of the story and how things are going. It's despicable.
Especially not the creator.
Goose's Reddit account is now deleted, so any past and future statements she made are gone. Fans have lost a really valuable resource, and it's genuinely a massive shame. I will say though that I think it's probably a good idea for Goose to step away and take a step back. Responding to criticism directly, especially on websites, is generally a bad idea. It's not healthy to try and argue with people about things, because at the end of the day, the author knows more about the source material than anyone else. Goose knows where the story is heading, but the fans don't. Fans are operating on what they know so far, so of course they don't know the full story. It's reasonable for people to say that right now Ragatha's been left out, because we don't know what happens to her in future episodes. This is a similar sort of thing that's happened with Vtuber and still happens to my knowledge. It's never good for a creator to respond to these criticisms on public platforms, because it usually never ends well and makes them look worse as a result. It's also just sort of a minefield to reveal info on streams or posts anyway, because regardless of what you say, it will upset people. Fans being angry about Pomni and Jax being the main characters was to be expected, but I don't think anyone was ready for the amount of hate and drama it caused. So, with everything covered, what do I think? Personally, I think there's one party that's clearly in the wrong here. Goose was just talking about a show she's passionate about, and fans were just giving their fair critique of a show that they love. The people that are absolutely in the wrong, however, are the haters. It's never okay to get up in arms and harass a creator because the story is going in a way you don't like. So that's everything I'd like to say on this topic. I made a video about it which I recommend you to watch if you haven't seen it yet, but since then we got an update from some figures in the indie animation community, a response from Gooseworx, and even a statement from Glitch Productions themselves. Like usual, I'll give a brief bit of context on what happened, and then move on to discuss all the new things. At the end, I'll give some personal thoughts. Also, same as before, don't harass anyone mentioned in this video. I hope you enjoy. So, for those who are unaware about everything that's transpired, Gooseworx talked about the show recently on live streams, especially how Pomni and Jax are the main characters. A lot of people just assumed generally that Pomni was the solo main character, and that Jax was sort of shoehorned in, either for funny bunny appeal or as a way to give Pomni more importance in the story. Gooseworx also had an active Reddit account where she gave insight about things and also teased future plot points. Once Twitter discovered this, however, they took what she said out of context and got upset, using it as further evidence that the Digital Circus was the Pomni and Jax show, while everyone...
On top of this, I also gotta say, there's no way that people actually believe they can bully creators into changing their stories. I don't know if that's worked before in the past with other people, but every single time that I've seen it, it's just either ended with the creator of said media canceling everything, or them just completely ignoring it, or them arguing with somebody, looking bad, and then like just continuing. I've never seen that like change somebody's mind. I've never seen a creator that actually loves their work change their mind because a hater told them to. It's just so weird. It's so weird.
else was left out. After all of this, Gooseworx deleted her Reddit account and issued an apology over on Blue Sky, saying that she didn't mean to harm anyone and was sorry for the statement she made. So with that covered, let's get into the new developments. Goose made a few statements on sites like Twitter and Blue Sky. She ended up reposting her statement over on Twitter and actually gave an additional reply, so we'll cover that one. Her post reads, "Sorry for the breakdown earlier. Honestly, I haven't been behaving very professionally on social media, so I think I need to step back from it and reevaluate my priorities." In a follow-up, she says, "To clarify, this isn't really about criticism. You should be able to criticize the show without feeling guilty. I had a lot building up in my mind, combined with intense burnout and pressure to make the finale perfect. In the end, I'm the one who snapped, so I should reflect." So her first post is an apology, saying she wasn't professional on social media and needs to take a step back. In her second reply, she's basically explaining how the situation isn't about criticism. You can criticize the show. However, she was under a lot of pressure with making the finale and was feeling burnt out, so she snapped. Within the past hour, Glitch Productions themselves came out with a statement. It's pretty lengthy, so let's get into it. "Hey all, we've seen some of the recent posts online surrounding the Digital Circus and its community, and we wanted to take a moment to address it. Right now, there's a lot of noise online, and we know it can be exhausting and really make something you enjoy feel darker than it really is. However, when we think of our fans, we think of the artists pouring their hearts into every piece of fan art, the cosplayers bringing these characters to life in ways that genuinely move us, the people who show up to every discussion with thoughtfulness and heart, and the ones who have built something genuinely special here. You are what this community is really about. The majority of this fandom is made up of people just like you. We've had the privilege of meeting many of you at conventions and across social media, and we find it's a fandom full of kind, creative, and passionate people who genuinely care about the stories we tell. This is what truly defines this fandom. We've also seen the enormous amount of love and support from many of you for Goose since this has unfolded, and it's meant the world to her and us. She feels really supported. What you've all built around this show, the friendships, art, and conversations is all real and what really matters. Take a moment and be kind to yourselves and each other. This community means something special to us and we love you all." The Glitch
Best
team.
way of handling
So there's been a variety of posts and comments from people who either voice acted on the show or in the industry, so I think we should go through a couple of these. I'll summarise each one, but feel free to pause and read in your own time. The first is Tomska. He basically said that he empathises with Goose a lot. It's important to take breaks from social media because the human mind wasn't made to withstand such high levels of scrutiny. We have one from Michael Kovac. He talks about how the fan base is lovely. It's just the toxic small minority that soured things. He wants people to be kind. Ashley Nichols made a post about how she was harassed for saying what Jax did in episode 7 was shitty, that she never expected the creator of the show to get the same treatment for saying the main characters are the main characters. Alex Rockon chimed in and made a couple really interesting posts. His first one talks about how he's been taking a break from sites like Twitter because it's tiring to interact with so many people. In another, he said that theories and expectations have had a nasty impact on culture. People get mad when the story they set up in their head doesn't align with what the creator has planned. He uses episode 7 as an example. Since there's a lot of children in the fandom, they miss the point of 7.
Exactly. A lot of the time with this, you're tagging along for a train. Listen up. You're tagging along for a train. A creator isn't going to change everything because of just the way that you like it, buddy. Like, it's just annoys me that sometimes people think that, like, they can just twist and change somebody's work, or a lot of the time everything has to go on the line that you have set in your head. Like, just allow the creator to do what they want to do. No one's forcing you to watch the media, brother. No one's forcing you to, like, watch this. Just watch it if you like it. If you don't like it, just drop out. You don't gotta say nothing crazy. You don't gotta do any of that. If y'all haters don't like it, then don't watch it. Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. It's just a waste of time.
made a couple posts about it. Her main one talks about how a creator being cringe or annoying isn't justification to treat them badly. People use criticism as an excuse for genuine cruelty. She wants people to treat humans like humans. Goose also received lots of sweet comments from other creators you'll be familiar with, like Senior Pello, Gianni, John Winefield, and Michaela Laws. So with Goose's response and a few updates from people who worked on the show, let's get into my thoughts.
Sometimes I pretend my wife is Jax, I might be gay.
So same as the first video, I actually think Goose didn't really need to apologise. In everything she said, she was really respectful. On the live stream, she was just responding generally. Her Reddit replies were also completely fine, they weren't mean-spirited or anything like that. However, I think Goose apologising is definitely a good move. It's the best way to move on from this. She is taking everyone's advice and taking a step back, which is a good thing. She did clarify that she has no problem with criticism, which I think everyone knew already. She has no problem with people pointing out things about her show. However, due to things like burnout and worry over creating the finale, it led to her making those posts, which people then took out of context to make her look bad. The bit about the finale as well is interesting. Creating the finale is probably the most stressful part of any show. A bad finale can totally sour the entire thing and can lead to a lot of upset fans. A lot of people probably don't know this, but Goose is the sole writer on the Digital Circus. She doesn't have a team of writers with her to balance things. If the ending doesn't live up to fan expectations, she will receive the brunt of the backlash. All of this was caused because of a few statements about Pomni and Jax, so you can imagine how angry people could be if the ending doesn't live up to the hype. In regards to Glitch's statement, I think it was really well put together. They acknowledged what happened, but also took notice of the way the community reacted. They recognised that a lot of the fans came out to support Goose, which they appreciated. The last two lines sort of tied everything together, saying that the community is special and they love us all. Like with Goose's post, you could definitely put forward the argument that they could have ignored the entire thing and it would blow over, but I think this is a nice way for them to put an end to things. It'll definitely help to bring the community together, rather than tear it apart, which is the best way to go about it. I also just like the formatting of it. It doesn't come across as corporate or cold at all. Glitch clearly cares a lot about its showrunners and the communities that support them. Out of the comments made by some of the voice actors who worked on the show, I think the one that resonated with me the most was the ones by Alex Rocon. He's completely right, the theory culture has totally trashed a lot of fandoms. Animation takes a long time, so it's many months between uploads. This gives fans time to cook up theories and headcanons. It's impossible for the show to ever live up to these. So when that time comes, they get angry. Like Alex said, theories are not the problem, it's just how fans perceive them and get so attached. Episode 7 was a fantastic episode, it subverted everyone's expectations. But as pointed out by Alex, people were upset that it didn't follow what they thought it would be. I've mentioned this before, but people don't seem to realise that the Digital Circus is genuinely one of the best indie shows of all time. If you go on IMDb, it consistently gets better reviews as the show goes on. Most fans absolutely adore the plot, myself included. It's just this small vocal minority of people that you can never appease. I think one of the things fans liked most about Goose was the way she handled things in a very informal, fun way.
That's another thing about it, bro. Chat, listen up. This is about to run deep. No matter who you are, no matter what you do, no matter how much you do for the world, people will hate you. It's how it is, bro. It's just human nature. People will hate you for anything. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. There's always gonna be somebody out there with the opposing view, fucking hate you, or just try to find a way to hate you because they envy you, bro. Someone's always gonna dislike you for something. Just remember that.
Tweets about random things, her Tumblr posts and her comments on live streams were hilarious. She had a unique way of going about things. However, unfortunately, in the past it led to some situations. One example was when she joked about Ragatha making out with one of her friends, but crazy people proceeded to send Goose's friend death threats. This entire ordeal is the latest example. If Goose does have a more professional social media presence from this point onwards, I think it'll be understandable. We'd all miss her fun comments and things like that, but it's absolutely for the best if it means she can take a break and focus on working on the show she loves. So, that's everything really. I think at this point the situation is definitely over. I don't think Goose will make any more statements and hopefully her break goes well. Glitch's update has also just sort of closed the book on this, which I think was the best way to end things. I also think I'm done talking about this. I've said everything I've needed to, so I think we can hopefully focus on looking forward to the next episode that comes out in March. So, what do you think? If you have any thoughts on the topic, let me know in the comment section down below. As always, thanks for watching.
Everything. Amazing video from Ayla Mal here. Amazing video from Ayla Mal. All people go check out Ayla Mal. Go check out Ayla Mal. Fire.